And they join me live now from Geneva along with their attorney, Daryl Parks. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and I hope we've caught you at an opportune moment. I want to hear about your testimony and what you've told this convention, but first off, I want to hear how you're being received in Geneva. And go ahead, Leslie, you can begin.
We've been received very well. They've given us a lot of love and support since we've been here, and everything seems to be positive. It's a great experience.
And Michael, maybe you can explain a little bit about what your mission was in going over to the United Nations and the message that you wanted to bring to the UN.
Just giving the UN an outlook on what's going on in the United States and all over the world with the police brutality, no justice. Just trying to get the eye opener of attention to the situation that's going on in St. Louis and all over America.
And obviously this is such a tense time as we all await a decision from a grand jury that I know you are all waiting on as well, as to whether the officer in this case is going to be indicted or not, or at what level, if he is indicted, will he be indicted. Can I ask you, Leslie, your thoughts as you speak to the UN about what's happening and your perception of policing in America? If you had the ability to speak to Officer Wilson directly, what would you want to say to him?
There's plenty of things I would like to say to him, but I would rather not talk about it.
Is it a personal message that you don't want to broadcast, or is there a wider societal message to him and to other police that you might want to comment on?
Well, the message would be delivered to all police in all municipalities that have bad apples in their bunch. But of course, I will have a direct message for him.
When you think about Officer Wilson, because no one has been able to speak with him, no one has been able to see him, and no one has heard from him, what are your thoughts when he crosses your mind?
I don't think about him. He doesn't cross my mind at all.
So there's nothing there's no residual anger that you feel, and curiosity as to what exactly happened in those moments?
Well, it's one thing for sure. He shot our son. He killed him. So anything that he has to say that he didn't say that day, if he felt that he was right, I don't want to hear it.
Well, for one, we trying to figure out why was he playing the part of a judge, a prosecutor, and an executor that day, that moment he interacted with our son. He had no right to address the law the way that he did to Michael Brown Jr., our son. And it's a painful deal. We're really lost with words on how to express ourselves about it, because we're trying to stay humble and not to be so upset to where it's a situation where I'm surprised we haven't even lost our mind yet over this. But we're being strong, and
Go ahead.
And hopefully justice will prevail.
So I want to talk to you about that justice, because justice is a very nebulous thing, and justice prevailing may not feel like justice for some. And I want to know if there's any situation at all that you could foresee where there is not an indictment of Officer Wilson, and how you would react to that.
Okay, to answer that question.
Leslie, do you want to try just how you might react if there is no indictment? And would you blame a grand jury, or would you be open to looking at the evidence that up until now you haven't been able to see?
Well, my faith is in God, and I'm pretty sure there will be an indictment. I'm pretty sure.
And
why wouldn't there be an indictment?
Well, I feel as though I'm in the dark, but for what people who have been witness to the event have said, and there have been varying accounts. And so the evidence that the grand jury sees is what's really key in all of this. And so I'm looking forward to that being made public. But I want to know, if there's no indictment, if there's any kind of evidence that's made public that could ever make you feel that justice did prevail.
I don't even think like that. Like I said, my faith is in God, and I see an indictment. I don't see anything else, so I don't think anything else.
Michael, if you had a chance to speak directly to the grand jury, what would you say?
I would actually just beg to look over the evidence thoroughly. Take your time. Don't just rush. Because we feel like you have all the evidence that you need to push forward to have an arrest for this case.
If there is and again, it's anyone's guess as to what that panel will return, but if they don't return an indictment, will you take to the streets and protest?
Yeah. Because the fight would not be over. The movement would be, well, like we said earlier in the last interview, you know, we understand that our son is gone, but the movement will be that we're trying to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else, that no one else has to feel how we feel. So yes, the protest will carry on.
Mm-hmm. And Leslie, tell me, and that's exactly what I wanted to know. Leslie, tell me what you want to tell the people of Ferguson and beyond who may want to be on the street with you if that in fact does happen. What do you want them to do, and how do you want them to do it?
Once again, we just want peaceful protesting if that's what they're out there for. Only positive things. Pause, plan, and prepare. We don't want anyone acting rational or acting before thinking, because it wouldn't be serving us any purpose. It wouldn't do us any good. We're trying to get a message across. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why we're in the UN as well. Yeah.
Can I also ask the both of you,
this is something that's been happening for years.
Can I ask you about the logistics of when the decision comes down? There's been a lot of talk about requests being made from the protesters. They want 48 hours notice in advance. They want a list of conditions met. Are the authorities working with you two? Are you being given any kind of care and treatment in when the indictment or non-indictment is announced? Are you being given advance notice? Are you being taken to a secure location? How are you being treated in all of this?
No, it's basically the same with both of us. We're still in the limelight. We're still dealing with this situation. We haven't heard from anyone, which that I feel that's pretty cruel and unfair. You know, with this type of situation going on. No one really reached out, let us, you know, no hand, no hug, no nothing. Just, you know, basically just deal with it, you know.
Right. No forewarnings on anything.
So
No.
yeah.
Nope.
It's been the same.
So you two will be learning along with the rest of the public on the day that the grand jury results are handed down. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, I hope we can speak with you further, and good luck on your trip. And I really appreciate you taking the time at 6 o'clock in the evening to come out and speak with us about it. And hopefully we can speak when this decision does come down, because I know you'll have a lot to say either way. Thank you to Leslie McSpadden and Michael Brown and Daryl Parks. I know, I'm sorry you didn't have an earpiece, so we couldn't do the interview with you, but we appreciate you being there as well. Thanks to all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.